Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You are very welcome along. This is episode 8, series 48 of the series that tempts you to reconnect with nature. Take 10 minutes just to break from the homogenized environment of the office where we look at screens and are surrounded by the same walls, to see what's going on outside, to reconnect with the sky, which reminds us that no matter how stressful or anxiety-inducing our work life is, the world still turns, to reconnect with the state of the foliage outside, because when we walk around we're reconnected with the seasons by seeing what's going on with the trees, what's going on with our favourite flowers. And to think about creativity, because that is our topic this month. I've so enjoyed exploring it with you, and actually today, for episode 8, we are going to think about creativity and exploration itself. Welcome along to Walk the Pod. Creativity and exploration. What type of exploration am I talking about? Well, I started out, before I left my house to walk my local streets, thinking about Keats and negative capability. Keats wrote very briefly about something called negative capability, but what he was really talking about was the artist's ability to exist within uncertainty, to be comfortable with the unknown, to live our questions, to be happy exploring our questions rather than trying to nail down answers and frameworks and objective, logical, reasonable answers and diagrams for absolutely everything that exists in the world, as his contemporary Coleridge apparently was keen on doing. And Keats was saying that in order to be a really impactful, powerful artist, what we really need to be able to do is to exist with those questions in mind, to fully explore them rather than trying to analyse them, and that this openness will actually allow us to create better works of art. And it doesn't have to be art, to create better. I'm just going to say to create better. Let's just use it as a verb. And I'm absolutely fascinated by this idea. I am somebody who is 100% in the Coleridge camp. I'm always trying to clarify, rationalise, logicalise, draw things, create frameworks for things, create diagrams for things, trying to nail them down, trying to stand back from them and look at them in a way that makes sense, trying to explain them to other people. As I'm sure you know if you listen to this podcast, that's what I'm always trying to do, isn't it? I'm always taking a concept that is a bit nebulous and I'm trying to explain what it is by doing lots of reading and asking you what it means to you, and so on. And Keats's point really is just stop. Rach, just stop. You don't have to understand everything fully, and indeed being alive is not about understanding things fully. It just isn't. There are many things that are beyond our understanding, our comprehension, and in our lifetimes we're never going to be able to understand or comprehend them. And even if you were to live for 1,000 years, there would still be lots of things that we couldn't make very much headway with. And actually, part of being a human in the world is being comfortable with that. So I really love this idea. I'm so fascinated by it. I've got so much sort of personal work to do to get comfortable with it as an idea, because I'm absolutely not that person at all. But if I'm going to work on my artistic practice, then I think it would be a good idea. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yes, this is right. This is absolutely right. So thank you very much indeed to Maria Popova for writing a wonderful Marginalian article about this negative capability that Keats mentioned only once, because it's really helped me to understand a key part of creativity, I think. So, exploring then. I think the point, if we're thinking about creativity, about exploring, is that we should enter into our creative work with an openness, with an absolute refusal to prejudge things. So a childlike kind of approach where we know we're going to do better with our creative endeavours if we are prepared to enter into the space openly, with a certain amount of humility and groundedness, and to explore the space without wanting to get to a point where we've fleshed everything out, where we've got to the edges of everything, where we can see the whole map. Because that's not going to happen. I mean, imagine if you were a scientist feeling like you absolutely had to understand absolutely everything. I mean, it would be enormously frustrating, and also you'd feel sad all the time. And I guess it's the same being an artist, you or a creative of any description. You can't get to the end of your creative work. You're never going to have done it all. You're never going to have explored everything, and you're never going to have explored to the extent that you want to, or created to the extent that you want to, I suppose. So you just have to be content to do your best work on your own little corner of the tapestry, and enjoy it. Enjoy the precious opportunity to be able to do that, frankly, because it is an enormous privilege even to be able to do creative work. Being able to do creative work indicates that we are fed, clothed, have a roof over our head, and not so stressed that we can't do creative work. So it's a huge privilege, and that's also why we engage in our gratitude practice, just to remind ourselves that we're very lucky to be able to do anything creative at all. What can I see directly in front of me? Well, there's a gorgeous cat just sunning itself in a sunbeam over here. Little black cat, very like one I have at home actually, but not that cat. A little bit littler. I'm not going to take a photo of it because I'm walking past and I'm recording. So if I stop recording to photograph, then I'm not recording anymore. But it's a beautiful little black and white kitty. There's a person throwing bricks into a skip out of a wheelbarrow over there, dressed all in blue. And I've been really enjoying looking at the 72 different micro-seasons that the Japanese celebrate. So the Japanese don't have they do have 4 seasons, but then within the 4 seasons they have something like 24 sort of miniature seasons, and then within the 24 miniature seasons they have 72 what they call I don't know how you pronounce that. And I really love that idea because it allows you to have about 5 days where you go, okay, in this 5 days every year, this sort of thing is happening in nature. So this is the 5 days in which the hydrangeas are blooming. And as we know, the colour of hydrangea flowers represents what kind of soil they're in. If they are pink, they're in acidic soil, and if they're blue, they're in alkaline soil, and if they're somewhere in between, I anticipate letters because I may have got that the wrong way round, but could be right. Anyway, and I really like the idea that you would have a 5-day miniature micro season where you can say, okay, so in this 5 days, geraniums are out, hydrangeas are out, peonies are out. Peonies are not out at the moment. I meant petunias, that's what I meant, sorry. Not peonies, friends, petunias. And in the next 5 days, you can say, well, now is the time that, I don't know, something else is happening. Because as I'm walking around, I do notice that different different things are happening in nature, and I love that there are days when I walk around and magnolias are out, and then 5 days later I'm walking around and the magnolias are no longer out and something else is going on. And that's one of the nice grounding and connecting to nature things that walking brings, even in an urban area, because there's always nature kind of sneaking in through the cracks. There's another kiddie asleep on a patio outside a house here, slightly more long-haired one, also black and white. And it's actually a beautiful day today. Blue sky, white, fluffy clouds, everything. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime. I've had such a nice time just frolicking in the sunshine and thinking about creativity and exploration. So if you're doing creative work, if you're doing artistic work in the next few hours or days, try to be in uncertainty in it and enjoy exploring the space. And don't try to sort of find all the corners of the space. Just sort of think of it as working on a small piece of a tapestry. And that might mean that you make more interesting creative work, perhaps. Who knows? I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in this area. Take care of your beautiful mind, yourselves and each other. I'll be back tomorrow with episode 9 of series 48. And then we'll just have one episode left, dear friends. So I look forward to speaking to you then.